Okay, so due to the bad connection to the Twitch TV servers, okay, we will be recording this game development session offline. Okay, so by the time you are watching this, you should be doing so via YouTube. So once again, I apologize for not being able to live stream 2 days in a row. Okay, so welcome back to another game development session of Stars. Okay, so my name is David and I will be your host for this game development session of Stars, which allows you to see behind the scenes and everything transparently into what goes into the development of Stars. Okay, so continuing on from where we left off from the previous session. Okay, today we are going to finish up Asuka's counter skill. So before we do that, let's revisit what Asuka's special skill does. Okay, so if you miss it during the previous session, Asuka's special skill is the counter. Which allows you to deflect any incoming enemy projectiles. So to demonstrate that to you, let me try to use the counter skill in mid-air. So when you have successfully countered an enemy projectile, the words or the word countered will appear on top of your character's head. So in order to show you how counter works, we need a stage with enemies that shoots projectiles. So when you press S at the right time, you will counter the enemy's projectiles. And the word counter will appear to indicate to you that you have successfully countered an enemy's projectile. So you can also counter in mid-air if you are able to master it, as it's not easy to do so. So let's try to challenge ourselves and do that. so we managed to counter, or rather we managed to counter the brick haze, brick projectile while in mid-air. So that is something that requires a lot of practice. So notice how we managed to counter every shot of the enemy's projectile. Okay, so that isn't something that is easily accomplished. But once you have enough experience with the counter skill, you should be able to easily do that. Okay, so the next thing So the next thing that we need to do for the counter skill is to create the sound effect, as currently the sound effect that you are hearing is using the same sound effect as Rogue's special skill, okay, which is this. Okay, so we need a new sound effect that will be played when Asuka uses the counter skill. Okay, so to do that, okay, we will need to use our BFXR. Okay, which will help us generate random sound effects so that we can get one that we really want. Okay, so as you can see, here are many sound effects that I have randomly generated. Okay, some of them have been used, but some of them have not been used yet. So let's see if we have any candidates that is suitable for Asuka's special skill. Okay, if not, we will generate some random sound effects. Okay, the reason why we are using random sound effects instead of especially trying to achieve some sound effect is because if we go for randomly generating sound effects, sometimes we might end up with interesting sound effects that we can save for later use. So in a sense, it's like killing two birds with one stone. Okay, so let's listen to some sound effects. Okay, so the way that we usually decide on using a sound effect is when we play a sound, we visualize or imagine the animation playing in our head and listen to the sound effect at the same time. Okay, so this could be used. Okay, so this is the first candidate. So let's rename it to okay, so we will rename it to aska underscore counter underscore 1 indicating that this is the first candidate. So this process usually would or might take a long or short time depending on whether we can arrive at a sound effect that is suitable for what we are trying to get. So in this situation, it would be for Asuka's counter skill. So while we are searching for sound effects from one to the other, we are also visualizing the animation playing in our heads. So that is the first step to deciding if this sound effect is suitable or not. Okay, and in regards to sound effects, okay, we also do not just use a sound effect as it is. Okay, we usually combine 2 or 3 sound effects together to give it more character. Okay, because when you combine sound effects together, you will create interesting combinations that you will not usually hear. So this process requires some sort of patience. Okay, and sometimes you can modify the randomly generated sound effect to see if changing it will make it more suitable for what we are looking for. Okay, so you must have the patience and focus to sit down for maybe some amount of time. Okay, in order to do this. Okay, so this sounds like an interesting sound effect. So I'm just going to save it as random. So we can reuse, or rather we can use it later if we need it. 16. Okay, so we might save a few candidates. Okay, if we do not, or if we have not found a suitable sound effect yet. Oh, this sounds interesting. Okay, so usually when we do this, we will also try to reduce the volume so as not to damage our ears. Okay, as you might have realized by now, we have to listen to a huge amount of sound effects. Okay, this sounds interesting, so I'm saving it for later use. Okay, so now we have 4 candidates. Okay, but we will try to get a few more before we decide on the 2 or 3 sound effects that we will use to create that interesting combination for Asuka's counter skill.